Jingming leapt onto the broken-down bus in the middle of the road. And his sudden appearance immediately drew the attention of the tigers roaming the square. Except for the Tiger King in the center, which was still busy eating. The other 9 tigers that had been resting all stood up at once. Their eyes, filled with vigilance and fury, locked onto the small human who dared trespass into their territory. Yet, despite their hostility, the beasts remained in place, showing no immediate signs of attacking. Jingming's gaze swept over the alert tigers. His mind calm. Everything was unfolding just as he had predicted. The Tiger King, being a higher-ranked monster, possessed a sliver of intelligence. It could command the lower-ranked tigers to fight in coordinated, if simple, formations. At that moment, the Tiger King let out a thunderous roar. The sound was a signal, an order for the lower-ranked tigers to attack. Slowly, they began advancing toward the bus. Their pace wasn't fast, but as 9 colossal tigers, each the size of a car, gathered together, the aura they exuded was terrifying beyond words. Roar! A second bellow shook the air. At once, the 9 tigers, which had been closing in at a steady pace, scattered apart. Then, from multiple directions, they lunged simultaneously at Jingming. Hidden nearby, Zhou Mingyang's heart tightened as he watched the scene unfold. He wanted to see whether Jingming was truly a powerful fighter, or just a reckless fool about to throw his life away. Jingming twisted his wrist, his grip tightening on the long spear in his hands. The weapon spun rapidly, faster and faster, until it became a blur. Facing this onslaught, Jingming's eyes remained firm and resolute. The 2-meter-long spear in his hands spun fiercely, like the blades of a colossal windmill. The 5 tigers dove headfirst into the swirling death trap, utterly unprepared for what awaited them. The razor-sharp spearhead became a meat grinder, tearing straight through their skulls. Blood sprayed wildly in all directions. Seizing the opportunity, Jingming lunged forward, his spear sweeping in deadly arcs with pinpoint precision. In one fluid motion, he slashed open the throats of the remaining beasts. With the enhanced stats he had gained along the way, he could now slaughter these creatures with nothing but the raw power of his body. Meanwhile, the system notifications chimed continuously. You gained plus 10 points for killing a rank 1 low-tier tiger. You gained plus 15 points for killing a rank 1 mid-tier tiger. It was then that the Tiger King finally realized something was wrong. The towering beast abruptly rose to its feet and began striding forward. As it passed by a wounded tiger, it crushed the pitiful creature beneath its paw without hesitation, as though enraged by the weakness of its kin. Seeing this, Jingming felt a twinge of regret at losing the points. Along with the bitter reminder that his strength was still lacking, he couldn't claim every kill for himself. Now, he stood alone, spear in hand, facing down the mighty Tiger King. In his clear, unwavering eyes, there was not a trace of fear. Only coldness remained, an endless, killing intent. Roar, whether it was the sight of its fallen brethren or the defiance blazing in Jingming's gaze. The Tiger King erupted in a furious bellow that shook the air. That roar unleashed a terrifying soundwave. The few glass windows still intact on the surrounding buildings instantly shattered, as if a bomb had just gone off. The shockwave made the ears of anyone nearby throb with pain. Even Zhou Mingyang had to retreat further back, his eyes full of caution. Jingming chose to go on the offensive. Gripping his weapon tightly, he charged forward, facing the beast head-on. As Jingming closed in, the massive tiger immediately brought down its enormous paw. The crushing strike was deflected mid-air as Jingming redirected it with his weapon. Almost instantly, the beast swung its tail. The bone blade at the end of it sliced through the air. Aiming straight for Jingming, he intercepted the blow just enough to slow it down, then used the tiger's tail as leverage to vault himself high into the air. The Tiger King was caught off guard by Jingming's agility. In that instant, Jingming brought his weapon crashing down onto the creature's skull. The colossal head nearly caved in from the sheer force of the blow. Without hesitation, Jingming drove his spear down once more, piercing the Tiger King's head clean through, finally ending its life. The system immediately chimed. Congratulations. Plus 20 points awarded. In less than 2 minutes, the entire pack of tigers had been wiped out. Zhou Mingyang stood frozen in shock, his whole body stiff. He hadn't expected Jingming to be this powerful. In his eyes now, Jingming was no longer a mere participant in this exam, he was a monster. Jingming looked down at the lifeless Tiger King at his feet and gave a faint shake of his head. Even with his physique enhanced by the system, he still couldn't quite gauge the full extent of his combat strength. He didn't know just how powerful he would become once the exam was over. But one thing he believed with absolute certainty: the stronger he got, the better it would be for him. With that conviction, he resolved to hunt down more monsters. At that moment, Zhou Mingyang hurried out from his hiding spot and ran toward him. Wait, how could you possibly take down a whole pack of monsters with nothing but a spear? Is your ability close combat fighter type? But Jingming ignored his curiosity. Right now, his only concern was to make the most of his time hunting monsters. He leapt onto a nearby building and prepared to move on, casually leaving Zhou Mingyang with a single truth: his ability was lightning control. That honest answer only made Zhou Mingyang feel even more uneasy. He was convinced Jingming was lying, because in the battle just now, Jingming hadn't used a single skill related to lightning. Frantically, Zhou Mingyang pulled up the updated leaderboard. After all the monsters Jingming had just slain, he was terrified that his own number 1 spot might have been stolen. And indeed, it had. Jingming was now ranked first with 1122 points, while Zhou Mingyang had slipped to second with only 985 points. Meanwhile, in the teacher's monitoring room, shockwaves rippled through the staff as they watched Jingming's performance. None of them had expected an 18-year-old to wield a weapon with such mastery. Director Zhang Wenshan confirmed to the others that Jingming was not cheating, he was a genuine talent. Congratulations, Principal Zhao. Looks like this year's top scorer in Zhangcheng will belong to your second high school. Principal Zhao Ziyao, brimming with excitement, responded. Thank you, sir, but the exam isn't over yet. The results are still undecided. Jingming, you truly are the biggest surprise of all. Finally, our second high school will have its moment to shine. 3 hours later, in the central zone, Zhou Mingyang walked with wary steps, eyes scanning his surroundings. He couldn't understand what had happened. Every monster in the area seemed to have vanished. At this moment, he noticed a group of students walking toward him. These were the students ranked in the top 10 of the exam. He asked why they were all moving together. A petite girl named Meng Di replied with some annoyance. Didn't you check the scoreboard? Almost all the monsters in this area have already been wiped out by Jingming. That's why we had no choice but to group up, otherwise it would just be boring. Zhou Mingyang exclaimed in shock. Impossible. How could that be? The monsters here are all very strong. If you don't believe me, just open the ranking board and look at his score, you'll understand. Tang Qi said as she walked up beside him and pulled up the leaderboard. 3,400 points. Seeing Jingming's terrifying score, Zhou Mingyang's eyes widened in disbelief. Watching his reaction, Tang Qi sighed. Now you understand why we said Jingming killed all the monsters. Killing a low-tier level 1 monster gives around 14 to 16 points, while killing a mid-tier level 1 monster gives around 20 to 22 points. With 3,435 points, even if you subtract the 700 plus points he earned in the central zone, he still has more than 2,500 points left. In other words, Jingming alone has killed nearly 200 monsters in the central zone. Zhou Mingyang stood there, dumbfounded at her words. Now he finally understood why Jingming never wanted to cooperate in hunting monsters. He was afraid others would steal his kills. So that's what he had been planning all along. At this point, Tang Qi explained that the three of them intended to go deeper into the core central zone to hunt stronger monsters. She asked if Zhou Mingyang wanted to join them. Feeling uneasy, Zhou Mingyang reminded them that the core central zone housed high-tier level 1 monsters, and possibly even level 2 monsters. Entering that area would be extremely dangerous. But the confident girl replied, "We're well aware of the dangers we might face there. That's exactly why we teamed up in the first place. Do you want to come with us or not?" Ruined town, central zone. Jingming was sitting atop a mountain of monster corpses. So many that it was impossible to count them all. The sheer carnage showed just how terrifying the previous battle had been. He calmly ate the food he had prepared beforehand for the exam. By now, his provisions were almost gone, a clear sign that the exam was nearing its end. But Jingming wasn't ready to stop yet. He wanted to rack up even more points. And his next destination was the core central zone, to take down the level 2 monsters there. However, he would need to power up one more time. He opened his system interface. Rank, Awakened. Ability, Violet Heaven Divine Lightning. Strength, 181. Spirit, 182 Hz. Skills, Advanced Spear Technique. Beginner Thunderbolt Gale Strike. Ability points, 2,413. 2,413 ability points. Jingming's eyes lit up instantly. This was everything he had accumulated since entering the central zone. So many points, it was truly astonishing. Without hesitation, he tapped the plus symbol next to Thunderbolt Gale Strike and spent 300 points to upgrade the combat skill straight to advanced level. Immediately, he felt the changes surging through his body. With this level of power, he was confident he could defeat even a level 2 beast. Meanwhile, Zhou Mingyang's group was also heading deeper into the core central zone. Jingming did the same. The final phase of the exam had officially begun. Jingming was filled with curiosity. He wondered just what kind of level 2 monsters the organizers would unleash for the students to face.
Thanks for watching. I'm going to introduce the new manhwa. Please subscribe to the channel, like,